please sit back. As usual, no flashlights during the press conference. I would like to welcome you on this press conference of Before Sunset by Richard Linklater. I will shortly introduce the talents on the stage. On the right is Ethan Hawke. Very next to him, Julie Delpy. And next to me, the director, Richard Linklater. The director, you know, won 9 years ago the Silver Bear for the prequel. So, your questions, please. You, please.
Hello, my name is Eric Kirschbaum from Reuters. I'd like to ask this question to all of you. Perhaps you could answer with a word or two. You seem to resist the word sequel to this film, calling it a continuation or a follow-up film. What's the problem with the word sequel? This seems to be the ultimate sequel that people have been waiting 10 years for. And a second question after that is, will there be a third film in 9 years from now, maybe before divorce or something like that?
I don't know. Good title. I don't know. Have we avoided the word sequel that much? Is it not in the press notes or something? I mean, I don't know. Sequel. What is that? That has a weird connotation when you say sequel. It usually means, you know, economic interest, like it comes within a year or 2 years after because the first one did really well. You know, this obviously isn't for that. It's, you know, our personal, we're here for personal reasons, I think. So, and will there be one 9 years from now, or? We all look at each other like,
Depends on how much people like this one, I think.
Yeah. Well, sequels are often the same film with a bit of a different cast and trying to change a little bit the storyline. And we try to do by saying it's kind of continuation more than a sequel of, like, you know, it's more of like the continuation of the same characters more than, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Please, the next question over there.
Hi, my name is Mary Vinke, Currents Magazine in Hamburg. I have a question to the writer-actors. It seems like you had a long time to think about the idea of this film and to write the script with emails going back and forth, but the dialogue comes across as so spontaneous. And did you work with a script, or did you improvise a lot? How did you keep it so fresh and so fast?
We didn't improvise at all. It was all written, and then we worked the lines in a way that we knew them well enough and we digested them well enough so that it seems like we're just having a conversation. I mean, that was the goal, is to make it as natural as possible. But to achieve that, you have to basically learn it like you've always, I mean, like every word is what you say and what you think the moment you're saying it.
That's a challenge of a piece like this. If you don't have kind of the normal beginning, middle, and end storyline, narrative, plot ideas that drive a script, the only thing that would sustain this is that it felt incredibly immediate. You know, Rick used to always say that, you know, we could have no drama in the movie, because if we put any artifice on it at all, if it didn't seem like it was spontaneous, then it would kind of be nothing. What it was striving to be was to really be in the present, in the moment. It's the whole idea of having it take place in real time. The only way we get kind of dramatic energy is by having no drama at all, and have it seem like it was being improvised. And so that we worked hard to try to achieve that.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest thing to do, and just to, I don't know, I think what Julie and Ethan have done in this movie is just kind of incredible, the amount they had to put into it and to be real. It might look natural on the surface, or that's the biggest compliment we could get, would be like, oh, it just seems like we turn on a camera and you guys started talking. But to get there, there's nothing to hide behind. It's kind of courageous, I think, what they did. That there's no typical actor tricks to hide behind. It's just, there's something straightforward about that. It's much more difficult than it looks, I think. Please.
Helen Barlow, who was actually on the set of the original film. Hi.
Hi.
I've managed to follow your career as an interviewer for everything I possibly can. It was a very special moment for me on that set. I imagine it was for you too. Could you tell me how important this film was for you? How much you've obviously kept it with you, that you've gone back to it, and yeah, I suppose it's and if you've remained close friends or thought of working together on other projects.
Well, I think when nice to see you again, by the way. But I think when I saw the poster as we were trying to finish the film to get ready for this festival, when I first saw the poster, I couldn't believe we'd actually done it. I mean, we've been talking about making this movie since we wrapped the first film. You know, the first film ended in such a way that it kind of begs for us to do this, and I think it took us so long partly because we were scared. It was such a wonderful experience, the first movie. I think for Julie and I, we're both very young, and we put a lot of ourselves into that first film, and it felt really personal to us. And if we made a second film and it didn't turn out well, it wouldn't be just making some bad movie. It would be not only making a bad movie, but it would kind of ruin the first one. And we really didn't want to do that. And so I somehow lost the question as I've been talking here, but what was exactly you were asking again?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like these people at all.
Yeah.
I never.
It was a very intimate experience, the first one. And we always hooked up over the years. Whenever we found ourselves in the same city, we would get together, like over breakfast. And, you know, most films you can joke about it, like, oh, we'll do what would be a sequel. But this, it was always kind of real to us. It was just a matter of when and how. And
The idea just
it
never...
was a little scary.
I thought you were joking at
All
first.
those years?
Yeah. Oh.
It really took off
Until the first day of shoot.
when we did Waking Life.
Right.
Julie and I did a little cameo in Richard's Waking Life, and could I get rid of this bottle? Yes, I could. I don't want pictures of me with a bottle coming out of my
Yeah,
head.
I think when you... That's right. When you guys came to Austin and we did the scene in Waking Life, I think that's when it got more real. It's like, okay, we have to do this now.
We always really enjoyed being together, and so it was, I mean, it's kind of funny to make this movie. It was so much fun. I mean, I don't think there's not that many sequels made to movies that made less money than ours. So it's something we're kind of proud of.
Yeah, it was surreal though to have these characters back. It's rare in film you get that opportunity, I think, to revisit characters later, many years later. You know, there's not really a reason for it. So it was very kind of strange.
Well, to me, it was like finishing something that somehow was always kind of like I felt something was missing, you know, until I did this film, actually, this new film. So it meant a lot to me personally. I don't know. I involved myself in a way, and Before Sunrise, like working the way we worked on like a personal things, says and ideas we expressed in Before Sunrise, and somehow I felt I needed to say more, to explore like another level with now being in my 30s and discovering something else, like another level to romanticism, to love, that maybe I didn't explore in the first film, and to me was essential to explore in this one.
That you couldn't have explored.
Yeah, I couldn't have explored because I didn't know as much. I mean, not that I know much.
Wiser, you know.
Next question, please.
Hello, Kirsten Greco, Top Info, Hamburg. My question actually is for all three of you. I guess I'm wondering about the challenges of making a film like this that takes place basically in 90 minutes. I mean, the film time is basically the same as the actual time. And is it more difficult or easier doing a film like that versus maybe a traditional time frame?
It's difficult. I mean, it's a nice structuring device, I think, for a narrative, but it's difficult. All the details from where the sun is in the day, you know. We could, not only do we have a short schedule of 15 days, but we only had a few hours a day to shoot. So it's a tribute to these two here to just be able to do a 10-minute scene, you know, in 2 hours and be done with it, you know.
So you can't cut away to anything, you know.
It was a challenge, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there couldn't be a scene that didn't work that we cut out of the film. Like most films, you know, have an extra 10 minutes or more, and then you kind of restructure it and sort of rewrite it in the editing. We couldn't do that. This is almost like a film play, even though it's far, far from a theatrical production, but it's still it was sort of structured like that. It was kind of impossible to cut out content.
To do jump cuts or whatever.
Yeah, it had to, like the whole walk had to kind of work. The pressure was on, like it had to work. Most movies you can, oh, if it doesn't work, we'll just cut around it, or you couldn't. You know, a lot of long takes, long steady cam shots and stuff. So again, you know. Please.
And this is Fırat Yücel from Turkey. And my question is to Richard Linklater. I think this film owes a lot to Waking Life and Tape, because Tape was also real time. I think both films are, you know, Waking Life has lots of philosophical dialogues, and this film, Before Sunset, has also lots of dialogues that are about time, memory. And what do you think about this? Did being shot, Waking Life, change your perspective?
I don't know. I mean, they're all kind of the same to me, you know, the approach. I think Tape, this film I did before that, was in real time. A lot of my earlier films were structured, like whether it was a 24-hour time span or 18 hours, or there was some time element to the structure of it. And I joked way back then about, oh, someday I'll do a film that's real time, you know, like, you know, and this is kind of it, you know, even to the banality of like paying the bill at the restaurant, things that would get cut out of most movies to actually carry it all the way through. I thought that, you know, it's just kind of an interesting attempt. If what you're going for is some reality, you know, maybe take that all the way and actually say this is some kind of filmed reality, even though it's not, you know, it's not a documentary or anything, but that's what you're trying to depict, you know. And as far as the content, I don't know if it's any more philosophical than anything else. It's just two people who are kind of so happy to see each other again. I wanted the audience to sort of feel like, if you like the first movie at all, or like those characters, it would be like running into them again, you know, and just how fun it is to run into someone you haven't seen in a long time, someone you were maybe intimate with or had a deep connection with, and there's a certain energy between two people that you can just ride on. So I thought maybe that's what the film could be like, you know.
Hi, Susan Hannaford, People Magazine. I have two questions, the first for Richard, the second for Ethan. Richard, the first movie was planned to be shot in Berlin, but you got your financing in Vienna, I seem to recall. How's Berlin changed? It's a Berlin question.
Oh. I mean, there was an early draft that I think it was, I had visited Berlin in 1990, and I had it in mind. I think it was the first European city I've ever been to. So I was thinking, oh, I'll set a movie there. But it just ended up, you know, for whatever reason. I also thought about, we could have, for a while, it would be shot in the U.S. and
San Antonio.
Yeah, in San Antonio, Texas. And, you know, it could have been shot on one level anywhere. It just happened to be Vienna. And how has Berlin changed? I don't know. I just got in late yesterday, and I've been doing interviews and stuff. I haven't, you know, it looks good out the car window. You know, I'm sure it's, in the 9 years I haven't been here, it's really come a long way. You know.
Second question for Ethan. It must have been very difficult for you, but comforting that you were working with familiar with Julie and with Richard. Was it very difficult with the tabloid press crawling down your back because of Uma and yourself when you were shooting this?
Well, yeah, I can tell an American would be the one to ask me that question. But yeah, you know, I always consider any kind of stuff with the tabloids to be, I consider it kind of a luxury tax, you know, for all the good things that happen in my life. You know, I have so much to be grateful for, just to get to do kind of experimental movies like this, get to work with really talented people, and get to spend my life, you know, in the arts. That's a real luxury, and to get to have the privilege of making my living doing that, it's even more of a luxury. And so I look at any kind of hassle that I get from that way as just a luxury tax, you know.
Hi, Jan Lommel from Sweden. I would like to return to Waking Life, which I haven't seen since it was shown in Venice in 2001. So I don't quite remember the scene. with Ethan and Julie, but I'd like to know first
You should
if
say it
it's...
was burned into your memory.
Well, it's burned into a DVD that I just picked up, but I haven't seen it. But anyway, I'll pick it up as first thing. But I would like to know first if this scene fits in to this story, or if it's more like... I don't remember where it's shot. It's supposed to be shot in America, right?
No, that's the thing about, maybe that's why you don't remember it very well. It's actually like a dream state kind of disembodied, no location type movie. So, and the time frame of that is arguably a lot less than real time. So, if you know that movie. So, I don't know if that film, I was aware when we shot that I didn't want to spoil or do anything about, because we were planning on eventually shooting this film some form or fashion. So that scene is really a continuation of the first movie, and it's really just, it's two ideas each that the other has brought up in the first movie is sort of answered in Waking Life by the other character. So they're sort of, they've swapped ideas or brains in some strange way.
You partly answered my second question. When did you, in fact, decide that you would do Before Sunset? Was this before Waking Life already?
We had the intention for a few years. We had been talking about it, like Ethan said, since we wrapped practically. And over the years we discussed it. We tried to get it off the ground about 4 years ago, maybe, yeah, almost 4 years, 3 or 4 years ago. We couldn't really get financing at that point. And it just, we sort of, you know, kind of, we sort of rethought the project and made it simpler and cheaper, you know, to make even, so. You know, it's difficult. Just because you want to make a film doesn't mean you automatically have financing. We were having, you know, like you said, it wasn't a sequel that anyone was begging us to do. You know, we did this for ourselves, really.
Wo schwirrt das Mikrofon rum?
Why, you just mentioned you had trouble getting financing. Why did you have trouble getting financing? The first one did so well, right? It made like 8 times what it cost. And how much did this one cost? Could you tell us that as well?
This was low budget, similar to the first one. I don't know, you know, not very much. But I don't know why I had trouble financing. Ask our executive producer, John Sloss. He's over here somewhere. No, I don't know. I don't know.
Yes, hello. Buried over here, standing. In the beginning of Jones and Black is from Athens, Greece. Congratulations for your beautiful film. In the beginning of the film, when the author introduces his book, we hear that the interpretation of the continuance of the book would be different to a cynical and different to a romantic. And my question is, in those subjects, what are you three? Romantics or cynics?
Go down the line here.
Well, you'd have to be some kind of romantic to make a movie like this one, you know? I mean, I think... I mean, does it...
What?
Are you a romantic or cynic? Julie, you take it.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I think I'm perverted and sick.
That's for sure.
No, I must be romantic deep inside, but I think my idea of romance has evolved throughout the years. Like, I think I was romantic, and I think that's kind of like the first movie versus this one is there's an idea of romance when you're in your 20s, which is really pure and beautiful and this kind of ideal idea. And then as you get older, I don't think it's being cynical, but it's seeing romanticism as something more real and in a way dealing with, you know, like mixed of romantic ideas with friendship, with connection, more than just this idea of pure romanticism, you know?
Julie, your album's very romantic and realistic too at the same time.
And cynical.
And cynical. Yeah, it's a good note to hit if you can do that. So, yeah, I think I would fall into that category, like romantic realist, you know, somewhere in there.
Yeah, SF Said from UK. I'd just like to ask Ethan and Julie, you've both worked with a lot of great filmmakers in your time. I wonder if you could just tell us something about what working with Richard is like, what makes him special as a filmmaker.
He's very special. He's my favorite director.
Godard, Kozlowski.
No, it's wonderful. I mean, actually, working with him is wonderful because we have this. I think that's very rare to be able to work on a level where you don't feel there's, you know, the director, this unattainable creature, you know, where you just like, when we work together, it's just this, we put our ego aside of whatever we are, and we just work to make the best, the most true to ourselves film possible. And that's what happens in that room when we're together. I think it's like this pure will to make the best film possible, and that's wonderful to work with him as a director, and because he puts yourself in the situation where you don't feel you're this little empty creature that needs to be filled by this, you know, you just, you know what I mean? He makes you feel like he wants you to be an intelligent, creative person when you're around him.
I need you to be, because I'm not. So.
No, but he makes you feel like you're not just some little whatever, you know. And not every director, you know, not every director makes you feel that way, but he's more than anyone I've worked with, someone that makes you want to do your best work. I don't know how he does it, but he puts you in a good mood and he makes you want to do your best work. And that's a wonderful quality for a director. I mean, you know. Did I say, is that bad?
Very nice, very nice. Okay. But I just would repeat what Julie said, really. I mean, the nice thing about doing a movie like this, it did have the feeling, I've never been in one, but I can imagine what it would be like to be in a band, and it felt like the band was coming back together.
Yeah.
You know,
It was really
I
like
couldn't imagine a more collaborative experience. I figured we were just a team. I mean, I can't think of anything in the movie that we didn't all agree on. Or, I mean, Ethan and Julie are both, you know, they're both writers, directors, they're both musicians. They've, you know, it's great collaborating with them because they have so much to, in this form too, they had so much, the movie required them to, you know, give completely of themselves. So both at the script stage and rehearsal and the shooting, and you know, I feel like we're all like co-filmmakers here.
Wir nähern uns dem Ende der Pressekonferenz. 3 oder 4 Fragen noch.
Hello, Susan Baker from Berlinale. Nice to meet you. Thanks for the wonderful movie, first of all. I liked it very much. Question to Ethan and Julie. Could you comment a little bit on your maybe own experience in life, like concerning that special miracle happening before sunset or before sunrise? Thanks.
Yeah, well, no, explain the question more, like what our own experiences with love is like? Is that what you're saying? What do you
like that special miracle Jesse and Celine got through in the first and the second movie, like in the first 14 hours, and then the second took only...
Those special encounters with someone, right?
Well, I only did the film because I was trying to get back with Julie Delpy, you know. No, I don't know. How do you answer that question?
In our personal life, like those beautiful moments, have we had that, or? I haven't. I mean, I've never met anyone I liked, really.
I don't know how to answer
true.
it. I don't know. I know what you mean, but...
Yeah, we're trying to depict something very special that none of us have ever actually experienced. Had we wouldn't have to
I felt
make a
like
film
the fun of the first movie was a lot of people can relate to that idea of, you know, bumping into somebody on a train and feeling like you really connect with them. We've all kind of had that experience, a one night or a weekend, or this really special experience out of the regular day-to-day existence that you have, and that's what was special about that movie. And what we wanted to do with this one is that feeling of when you bump into an old lover and they kind of make you reevaluate where your life is going. If only things had been different with them, maybe I would have gone down a whole other path. And I've certainly had that. I don't know how in detail to get with you about it, though.
Same here.
Last question, unfortunately.
Back from a radio station here in Berlin. It's a question for Mr. Hawke. But first I have to say, it's really a wonderful film. You already heard that, but I enjoyed it very much. For Mr. Hawke, you wrote 2 wonderful books, and you were on stage in New York recently. What will your next plans? Is there another book in advance? Maybe this pop song story?
Yeah, hopefully there'll be another book. I'd be really disappointed if there wasn't. What I really want to do right now is write the 3rd installment of this series. That's what I'd really like to do. You know, I mean, that's what's on my mind. But No, I just finished doing a Shakespeare play in New York, so I'm absolutely exhausted and I have no idea what I'm going to do next.
Vielen Dank. Das war die Pressekonferenz. This was the press conference to Before
Thank
Sunset.
you very much for being here.
Thank you.
There, where? We've done a lot of pictures, guys. I think we can pretty much be done.
Thank you very much.